Hi guys, today for dinner I made these gorgeous roast asparagus and hollandaise sauce. Asparagus is by far and away my favourite vegetable and it's in season now as well, so we should all be eating loads and loads of it. Don't worry if you think that's too healthy for you though, I also made this luscious hollandaise sauce. People often get really bogged down about making hollandaise sauce thinking that it's way too hard, but it's not at all. I'm going to show you how to do it. Start off by melting 125 grams of butter on the hob. I know this is a huge amount of butter. This will make for a really rich sauce. I only have it really rarely, but if you don't want to have it at all, that's totally fine. The roast asparagus are actually really nice on their own as well. Now you're going to want to try to skim off as much of that white foam as possible. That's the milk solids. And if that makes it into the sauce, I could make it a little lumpy, but don't get too bogged down about it. A little bit of it is fine. Once you've skimmed off as much as your patience will allow, just set it to the side, making sure that it stays warm and in liquid form. Now move on to your egg yolks. I've got 2 of them here in a heat-proof bowl, and to that I'm going to add a half a teaspoon of white wine vinegar. If that looks like more than half a teaspoon, it's because it is. I accidentally put in too much. I should have measured it, but that made for a slightly vinegary hollandaise. Still nice, but just put in a half teaspoon when you're making it. I also added a pinch of sea salt flakes and a small splash of ice cold water, maybe 2 teaspoons. Then give everything a quick whisk to make sure that it's all nice and incorporated. Now place this bowl over a pan of shallow, gently simmering water. Make sure the water is shallow enough so that the bowl won't touch the water. Otherwise the eggs will cook too quickly and scramble, whereas we want to whisk these up so they will cook really slowly and thicken gently. You're going to want to whisk these eggs until they're thickened and lightened in colour. For me today this took just over 4 minutes, but it could vary a lot depending on the heat and everything, so just keep whisking until they're thick and pale. Once they're the consistency that you like, take them off the heat and you'll see that they're now a lot thicker. Next we're going to take our melted butter and very slowly, little bit by little bit, add it to the egg yolks, whisking in each bit before we add the next, forming a yolk and butter emulsion. I think it's this emulsifying stage that people are really freaked out about, but once you do it once, whether it's for mayonnaise or salad dressing or a béarnaise, whatever, just do it once, you'll nail it, you'll see that it's nothing to be afraid of, you won't get bogged down about it anymore, but just make sure to take your time, it's the most important thing. The only way you'll mess this up at this point is if you're in a rush and you flood the yolks with the melted butter. That'll cause it all to split and go horrible. You'll just have to throw it away. There's no coming back from that. But you can't go slow enough. I mean, if you really take your time and just go really slowly, you're guaranteed a lovely hollandaise. So once all your butter is nice and incorporated and you've got this beautiful, smooth, glossy hollandaise, you're going to want to hit it with a good squeeze of lemon juice. That's really important for flavour, but just make sure that you fish out all of those horrible little lemon seeds. If you bite into them, you'll get such a horrible acrid taste. It's just so horrible. Then whisk all that up for just a few seconds until the lemon juice is nice and incorporated. Next, you're going to add a little touch of cayenne pepper, just a few shakes, and whisk to incorporate that as well. Next, you can give it a little taste for seasoning and adjust if needs be. I'm adding smoked sea salt flakes here, that's why I'm using brown salt, but don't worry about that, and regular sea salt flakes are fine too. Next, you're going to want to decant that into a small bowl or a jug and keep it someplace warm, like next to the cooker, until you're ready to serve. By the way, if you're making this for guests who are staying the night, this will make for really good eggs benedict the next morning. Just keep it in the fridge overnight and stir in a tablespoon of boiling water or maybe 2 to loosen it up. Now you're going to want to prepare your asparagus. I have 500 grams of it here and I'm just going to take the bottom inch off because that's quite woody. You can do this in batches. Next, because I'm trying to be fancy and impress people, I take those trimmed asparagus and with a vegetable peeler I just peel the last inch off the bottoms. This isn't important at all, it's purely for aesthetic because it makes them look really nice. If you're stuck for time, don't do this. Or if you're doing this every day for yourself or just the family, don't do it either because it does take a few minutes. Now that all that's done, go ahead and lay them on a baking tray in a single layer and drizzle them with 2 tablespoons of olive oil and a little sprinkling of sea salt flakes. Then roast them at 200 degrees Celsius for 10 minutes. Then transfer them to a serving dish and serve next to your Hollandaise sauce. Asparagus and Hollandaise is such a marriage made in heaven, such a winning combination. I hope you try this recipe at home. You won't be disappointed. Be sure to let me know how you get on if you do, and if you like this video, be sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons below. You'll find me on social media. All the links are in the description below, as is the link to my blog, where you'll find the full recipe at www.rookiecook.org.